Thank you, Risha, once again for handing it over. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final award for the evening and the most anticipated of the lot, our Compliance Crusader 2020. The winner of this award is...
We're now coming to the crescendo of our program today on Compliance 1010 to look at and bestow the final award, which is the Compliance Crusaders Award. We've had in past 6 years, one after the other, stalwarts who have given confidence to India Inc., who have benchmarked in terms of ethics, compliance, and governance by their own action. The amount of confidence that they have instilled in professionals like us and the compliance professionals is phenomenal. In that tradition, I think it's my pleasure, privilege, honor to announce Compliance Crusader 2020 as Mr. Harish Salve. India doesn't need any introduction of Mr. Harish Salve.
So much, Mr. Salve, for accepting this award, sir. I could not have thought of a better recipient for this award. What a stellar journey you've had in the legal profession. And now, of course, you're also a Queen's Counsel. Many, many congratulations from the Legacies family on achievement after achievement, sir. Sir, your advice about working with the system and within the system rather than working around it is a commandment, I feel, that needs to be followed to the T. And that is true not only for India Inc., whether it's an individual, but also for us as lawyers within the realm of dispute resolution as well. And sir, you're right. We need to change the system whilst being part of it rather than being anarchists. And once again, sir, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. Thank you very much.
Thank you ever so much. I feel deeply honored that you've considered me worthy of this award. And I almost feel intimidated when I see the list of those who have gone before me. They have been in the forefront of India Inc., people who have reflected and been themselves the change that India needed, the change that India has seen. People who have brought to India completely new culture of corporate functioning, people who have brought to India a new culture of corporate governance. And I think they have, to quite an extent, set the stage for the next level change that we need. I have said this earlier and I'm saying this again. The world has gone through a huge financial dip, and India is as much a part of the world which has been devastated by this awful pandemic. Not only has our spirit taken a beating, not only has our freedom been compromised, not only has our public health been compromised, not only has public well-being, mental well-being, emotional well-being being put in peril, but even the economy has seen a serious downturn. It is correct that when people look at 2019, 2020, they say the downturn was coming. So actually what we have seen is an acceleration in that downturn. And instead of turning things around, we have had to deal with this problem of huge economic crises in jobs, economic crises in production, economic crisis in collection of taxes. The only way out of this, I feel, is reset India. A reset India has to be an India where we have faith in the system, but more importantly, the system has faith in us. We cannot always be at loggerheads with the tax We cannot always be at loggerheads with the GST. We cannot always be at loggerheads with every government department which works. We have been struggling to improve our rating in the ease of doing business. And I don't think we have had any real success. Where we really need two opposing forces to come together. One is to rebuild, restore, and polish the credibility of India Business, India Inc. Make it worthy of the faith which needs to be developed, make them worthy of the responsibility that they have to now shoulder for pulling India out of this morass. So I start by saying Indian Business and India Inc. will have to take responsibility of a lot more self-compliant, self-regulatory, voluntary, compliant work ethic, not just ticking the boxes, but a ethos of compliance, which the Indian business generally and India Inc. has to build. We can always complain about the fact, and for good reason, complain about the fact how the Indian system kills all enthusiasm, dampens the spirit, and finds 100 different ways in which to scuttle entrepreneurship. And that is something the system will have to deal with. But we also have to realize, as the Prime Minister has announced, there's going to be massive deficit financing in the next 2 years, massive deficit financing. And ultimately, whether this money is put directly in the hands of businesses through banks, through lending, through subventions, through reduction in taxes, or whether this money is put into the hands of businesses by indirectly, that is by making available larger sums of money to consumers, by increasing salaries, by increasing support price in the agricultural sector, which ultimately filters back into increasing the demand for goods. Deficit financing can only be successful when it helps speed up the cycle and when it helps expand the economic base. And the Indian economic base can only expand when India Inc. and India Business expands. We must realize that this is our own money. If the government is printing money, we are lending to ourselves. And we have to learn to live with responsibility. We have to learn to the highest possible standards of governance. And we have to learn to live with transparency. And that is where I think organizations such as yours will come into the forefront, must come into the forefront. It is correctly lamented that complying with the labyrinth of the regulatory system in India is impossible. But believe me, that is true for anywhere in the world. If you want to start a business in the UK, you still have a laundry list of things which you have to do. It's just that the system is a lot friendlier. In India, we need something like what you've created. We need a one-stop shop where if somebody wants to set up a mid-sized business and he doesn't want to hire 3 law firms to write up, one telling him what the competition law is, one telling him what the sales tax law is, one telling him what the income tax law is. But if he wants a one-stop shop who gives him a list of things to do, be it the shop floors, be it complying with the real estate laws, being it complying with the tax laws, being it complying with the employment laws, being it complying with the environmental laws. If all this can be simplified, made cost efficient and cost effective, and made available on an easy digital platform, a huge gap which today exists in Reset India will be filled. And so I wish your organization all the very best. I hope you grow and I hope others learn from your experience, because there should be a lot of demand for an organization like you, because that itself will show that the people have embraced a culture of voluntary compliance. The people have accepted that profit can only be earned through means which are justified. Profit as an end is acceptable if the means to achieve that end are consistent with social order, are consistent with our duties as citizens, consistent as our being a part of this new experiment, which is inevitable and without which India cannot be saved from the ravages it has suffered in the last 1 year. So I wish you all the very best. And once again, I thank you for honoring me by this award.